This is my C128. This is quite a special one. The case I had sent to me from Marvin Droogsma, legend that he is, and it's in really good condition. There's very little yellowing on it at all, but it's got the very nice sort of European characters on the keys as well, and I quite like that. So yeah, inside, let's just take that off. We've got a C128 NEO. Now, I built this myself a couple of years back, and it was a really fun project. It only took about 12 hours to build, and yeah, it's pretty good. So today what we're going to look at is ripping out the modulator. The reason for that is I have this. Now this is a component video board. Yeah, that's right, component. And that will allow HD quality coming out of it. But also, it will get rid of the jail bars. And this is a two-part upgrade. What you're going to get is part of the VIC-2E chip. That will get a daughter board. And that is in here somewhere. There we go. And it's joined with a ribbon cable to the modulator port, so they will go together, and this will sit underneath it. And what it does is it intercepts the signals, sends them to an FPGA at the modulator, and that allows a proper component video output. But on top of that, it's also suitable for feeding into an RGB to HDMI, so you can literally get top grade video. Now, along with these benefits, you should be able to get decent video out of your S-Video at the back as well. So no more jail bars. So it literally is the best upgrade that you should be able to do to a C128. So in order to fit this in position, it occurs to me that the board is going to have to sit off the motherboard by a distance. And on here you can see that I've made a 3D printed surround for the board, because I don't like the way the modulators are only on 8 pins and they're sort of flapping around, you know, where you've got the board here and then this is just doing this. It just puts unnecessary strain on it, and at some point you've got to get back in here and solder the bloody pins back up. So I jumped into the 3D CAD, and I've designed a small bracket that should space it off the board by the relevant amount, hopefully, and tie up the tip ring sleeve connector to the center of the hole at the back here. Now what I did have was I had my Jiffy switch in that hole. So yeah, I'm going to have to make a hole somewhere else and feed that through, which is a bit of a shame. I didn't want to do that on this board. Okay, so here we are on the bench. I've got the 128 NEO board out of its case, and yeah, so we're going to remove this and we're going to transplant the new one in place. So let's see if I can't flip this over. There we go. So yeah, we've got I'll say it right in a minute. 2 lots of 4 pins down here. They've got to be desoldered. Luckily, I didn't go too crazy with the solder. I do like the way they're labelled up on this board. I really do. This board was an absolute joy to build. Really was. Anyway, we're going to whip these out and see where we end up. So I'm just heating up the gun. Get my other eyes on. Okay, here we go. immediately you can tell this is going to be a problem. Right. Now the problem with soldering pins onto a board is generally capillary action pulls the solder through the board. So getting the solder back out again can be a bit problematic. In this case, it hasn't worked. So let's just see. Fresh solder shouldn't be a problem. I built this a few years ago, but not enough for the solder to be old and crusty like. But I'll just reflow it. Now, okay, let's go again. Nope. Oh dear. So that gives us a little bit of an issue in getting the bloody pins out. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Although it's removed a decent amount of the solder off of the pin, I don't think it's actually separated the pin from the sidewall, as the holes are very tight. Yeah. Oh, that could be an issue. Okay, so yeah, I just had to do that off camera because I had to hold it and it was off camera anyway. I've managed to remove it with hot air. I don't really like doing that at all. It was a bit of a pig because the 3D printed surround I made in FPGA stuck to the board. So anyway, that's off. It's all off. We're ready to put the new one on. So here we go. Now this 3D printed surround I printed in ABS, so it should be okay. However, what I didn't bank on was a lack of space around it. So if we take our board, we can see here that it's quite a busy board. There's quite a bit on the back as well, and that's got to fit here. And it is actually quite a tight fit, right up against, let's have a look where that is, right up against the other ports. So look at the pin headers. Right, so in the kit they give you some longer pin headers, you can see here. Just snap off 4 and 4. Like so. And then perhaps we can see where we're at. Come on. Might be a bit of solder in that hole, and there is. Deal with that in a minute then. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be in that region now. That's right tight up against that. I don't like that one little bit. See, the problem is, because it's got to be that high, or fairly high, plugging anything into this is going to put a lot of strain on that. A lot of strain. That's, yeah, not been... That's got no hope in hell of surrounding that. Even though it fits the board properly, that's the right height, and that's how much we got to make it off the board. So that's going to be an issue. Definitely is. Okay, let's have a think. Okay, so here we are back again. I've removed the other one, the other modulator. I've installed the new pins. These were extremely tight to get in. I've been and designed a new bracket, which is quite minimal this time, because we've got absolutely fuck all space. So yeah, that's going to sit in here like that, and it will give it some support for when that sits in like this. Actually, it gives it quite a bit of support. So once it's all soldered down, it really is quite tough. Now, given the height, I need to make sure that this actually lines up now with the ports in the back. And looking at it, I'm not so confident at all. Yeah, I've made a bit of an assumption. Shit. So the assumption I've made is that this hole and this switch are going to be in line, and they're not. So I've taken the height to the middle of the hole. Let's get it in the case and have a look. Right, so what I've got to do is I've just got to take out all the bloody screws I've left in the bottom of the case. Of course I have. Yep, just gonna hit the camera, sorry. Right, so here we go. So we can slot that in like that. Slot that in there. Now I'm just going to offer this up to me so I can see what the hell's going on. And oh dear. Well, actually, that's pretty damn good. It is indeed in the centre of the hole. Right, so here seems to be the problem. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get onto camera. Not that easy by the look of it. Right, okay. So here, it's at a different height to the hole. Now, the spacing board I've made puts the jack right in the centre of the hole, and that's really what you need, because the 3.5mm jack, the tip ring sleeve, that's going to be chunky, so that really wants to sit right in the middle. The switch, however, isn't. So I really hate this, but I'm going to have to do a bit of case editing, I think, and just elongate this slot slightly up, this hole, and that's for the switch, which right now is literally right on the top. So I only need to move it, oh, I don't know, 2mm maybe. Yeah, 2mm, and that would be absolutely spot on. That's a bit of a shame. I don't like editing cases, but I'm going to have to drill a hole anyway, so yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that sorted, and I'll be back in a second. Right, so I've done a little bit of case editing, and it's going to be a bit difficult to show you, but I have elongated the square hole there, and I have added, this is very difficult to show on camera, a circular hole between the reset and the joystick port. So I can get that right. I'll show you better in a little while. Yeah, so that will be where I relocate the Jiffy switcher to. Right, so now we need to get this board in. So this is the small bit I printed in ABS, and that sits in there like that. So we need to just drop these over the holes and then make sure it's supported. Now we just want to tack it down first. There's no point going crazy, so let's just do that. Just get in here for a second. There we go. Nice. Nice. Make sure it's fully down and then do the other side. There we go. So that is fully nailed down, and the adapter's not going anywhere really. The only way it can go is this way, and only a few millimeters. So yeah, there wasn't enough room to actually captivate it both sides. This replacement board takes up a lot of the room, so I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nail this down. So here we go. Nice, nice, and done. There we go. So look, inspect. Yep, good. It's very hard soldering on camera. So yeah, this is now in. The adapter's got it, and it's actually really well supported now, because I've got posts underneath the adapter that really support the board nicely. So this is the Vic, and the second board is going to go to here. While I'm doing this, I've kind of got a little bit of a bad feeling about me having put heat sinks on the chips. It was never my plan. This wasn't out when I built this, so yeah, this is going to space that off. This daughter board here. Let's just peel that off, look. So as you can see, it's going to space it off by 5 or 6 mil. Yeah. Okay. Let's just tease this out. I have got a proper chip puller, but it's not right here with me, so I'm just going to just gently, there we go, that's out. Harpoon myself with a chip. Superb. Don't want to damage that. It's a Vic E. Good luck getting another one of them. Right, okay, so which way round does this go? There. So it looks like they're just level shifters, so I think that goes in like so. Okay, that doesn't right, that doesn't seem right to me at all. That doesn't seem right at all, one little bit, because that's got to go in there. The chip will sit on top, and then this board has got to come over like that, over the top of it. What? Yeah. Alright, let's just double check this. Okay, so the identifier for the chip is actually at this end, so I've reorientated it round, but this is super tight here. I'm not liking that one little bit. It's really got some, there's no slack on this cable at all. and because it's fixed this end, what can you do? You can put an extender on it, I suppose, but you know, how fucking wank is that? Jesus, I'm really not sure what the reasoning is for this. Yeah, so it comes with two smaller 24 pin extenders to go in here to lift it up to clear the cage around the VIC and the VDC. Luckily I don't need that, so I think I'm going to be alright with a heatsink, but this really is piss poor, really poor. They could have added, I don't know, 30mm more cable. I mean, Jesus, it is just super tight really for what it is. Don't like that in the slightest. That's a big thumbs down. So this is all there is to it. The daughter board's pressed in, the chip's pressed back in, this is soldered in. All we got to do now is get it back together and sort out the Jiffy DOS, which is going to be a bit more of a problem because I've got to extend the bloody cables. Yeah, I was running up to here, so I was going straight up to here, but now I've got to come all the way to here because this is the only clear bit really. It's realistically where you might want the Jiffy DOS. I could have put it in the corner, but no, I thought here would be better next to the reset switch. Yeah, maybe it's a bad placement, I don't know, but it's alright for me, so that's all I care about. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the Jiffy DOS cables and get this back together and we'll see how it looks. So just give me a few minutes. Right, so we've got all the stuff done now. We can see over here the two kernels are back in place, and I've mounted the switch over here which will switch both kernels at the same time with a double pulse switch. That's for the Jiffy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy about that at all. I think that's really poor, but hey ho, that is what it is. And looking at the back, you can see that although it's in the right place, the placement for the jack is not central to the hole, and that's not my doing. That's yeah, it's the way the board's been built, so it could have really done with being shifted to the right, maybe 2mm, but yeah. Anyway, I suppose they had to get this big bastard on there. So right, so all we've got to do now is get this powered up and have a look at the tasty new graphics. Excellent. Right, so here we are, set up, and the first thing that has actually come to mind is this supplied adapter, right, is huge. And if you look at the hole and where it's off center, it can't actually get through to the body because the board's been designed in the wrong place. That's pretty shit. So I've had to order another tip ring sleeve connector that hopefully is a bit thinner, a metal one, so that I can actually get in there. Just bringing it inside has dented the cable anyway, just where I've carried it inside. It's yeah, really piss poor design. They haven't thought about this. I mean, clearly this is for this should be used on a D or something. I don't think it's any good for a flat, but it could be. It really didn't need much. The fix is really simple. Shift this over by 2mm that way, or 1.5, or whatever it ends up being, and this cable here, just make sure that you can get it round. It doesn't stick upwards, it could stick out. I mean, Jesus. So let's see how this performs. Right, so right now I've got a RetroTink 2X Pro. That's what I use on this all the time. So we're not going in with component. Let's check out the, let's just put the case back somewhere on top. Let's check out the regular display through Super Video. Well, I don't know if you're seeing this, but that is fucking diabolical. Absolute fucking dog shit. That's worse than the modulator I had. Look at that. jail bars everywhere. It was actually better than that without it. I'm really, really pissed off with it. I can't recommend this to anyone. Really can't. That's just super shit. And that's on S video. That's, yeah. It's a shame because the 64 version is much better. That's really fucking poor. Right. Let's fire up the compa shit. Well, look at that. I mean, that's clearly obvious what's happening there. Jesus Christ. Really poor. Really poor. Now, when we switch it into component, and there is a switch on the back, and I've tried it in both positions, you get this weird picture. But if I put in the tip ring sleeve connector, as far as it'll fit, yeah, it's still got jail bars everywhere. So clearly they're entering the video signal. If I deform the case slightly to push it in, there you go. Well, of course it crashed the machine. Let's have a look, see if I can't reset that. I've got to hold it in position before it pushes it out. That is on component. There's still colour bleed and all sorts. If I let go, it pushes it out slightly. That's of course that's going to happen. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, I don't recommend this board to anyone. This is really diabolical. Really is. There's a switch on there as well on the modulator, so the center position does nothing that I can see. The right hand position, yeah, what a fucking waste. Let's put this in. Now, when you're not staring at the basic prompt, it's not so noticeable as you'd expect. It's really pissed me off that it's not as good as what I had. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but that's not what you're ordering a board for, is it? You're not ordering a board for it's not bad. You're ordering a board for it needs to be fucking superb. So I'm not sure whether these are just designed to be put into a D unit, but it could so easily go into a flat. The connector's only got to come out at a right angle. I mean, holy shit, how difficult is that? Then you've got to extend the cable. That's much more difficult because they didn't leave enough on there. That's really, yeah, that's really ridiculous. I mean, it could have come out that way. So I'm having to hold the camera and talk. It could have come out that way and plugged in on the side. You could have had a few extra centimetres of cable and you'd not have a problem. Not at all. Now I can clear this, no problem. That'll close. But this, nah. So, yeah, I'm not impressed. Not impressed at all. that basic prompt. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time messing around with this today. Things have not gone well, and I didn't expect that level of shitty video out of it. Not at all. I didn't expect these design problems as well. I thought it'd at least marry up. I mean, Jesus, can't even get a bloody thing in. So yeah, yeah. I'm going to try, once I get the right connector through, to make an RGB to HDMI adapter and try and get HDMI out of it and see if that cleans up the image. But to be honest, I've just had component, and well, the component's pretty shit as well, as you saw. So yeah, I'm not convinced, not happy, and I'm considering pulling it out. So what a waste of hours and hours and hours. Right, so what can I say now? Apart from give this a miss, I'm going to say, yeah, don't forget to check out my compadres in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching.